Hello and welcome. I'm Carol DeChaine, and I am an intuitive, a spiritual guide for practical matters, and a Marconics multidimensional energy practitioner and teacher. This month, I'm talking about heart centered businesses, about how to have it, what they are, and ways to work so that the whole thing will work for you, how you can work smart this time instead of working hard. This time, it's all about hiring a virtual assistant. So, what is a virtual assistant and what should they do for you? Well, a virtual assistant is someone you can hire through a number of different channels that you don't necessarily even need to be on the same country. They might be in the Philippines or some other place. If you only speak English, you'll just have to mention that so that you can interview someone who speaks English as well. If you want someone more spiritual, you have to put that in there. Say, this is what I want. This is how much money I'm willing to spend. And there are a number of different places that you can hire a virtual assistant. And they can do pretty much anything you want them to do. You can hire somebody to create your website. You can hire somebody to do your social media, to do, pretty much anything. They can do your marketing for you, your networking for you. That's not in person. Networking as in finding places to go. They can send out emails. So let me give you some examples. But the point before I get to the examples is that whatever you don't think you want to do because maybe you're not good at it, you don't want to learn, it takes a lot of hours for you to figure it out, but you figure that somebody who already knows how to do it could do it quicker, that you don't have to do all of that learning. Sometimes it's worth it, even if you have no money coming in, to spend a little bit to find someone who can help you and a certain number of hours. So, first think, what do I not want to do? For me, it was obvious. I didn't know how to put together a website. Well, I thought maybe I do. So I took some time and I did a Wix website. But then I heard, oh no, with you, it doesn't work as well. You need to do WordPress. And I thought, "Ugh, I already figured out Wix. Now I don't know how to figure out WordPress because it's not user friendly when it comes to putting it together. You need someone who knows how to do it. And sometimes you can then keep it up and keep doing your blog posts and maybe even adding pages. But to set it up in the first place, it's a little harder. You may not know how to do it and you may not want to learn. So hiring somebody can be a really good thing. You might want to hire somebody to do your social media because once you're set up, it's like, oh, how much do I have to put out there? You want to write your own blogs probably because it's comes from your heart, it's who you are, but maybe they take bits from your blog and they put it out in social media. You tell them what you want and they just go, okay, I can do that for you. If you know which social media you want to use, you can ask then for someone to help you. You can say, okay, this is what I did. I said, I don't know Instagram at all. I haven't set up an account. I want somebody who knows how to do Instagram, who can set it up for me, and then can go ahead and get my posts out. And she said, well, I can do Facebook at the same time. I'll just write it once and I'll set it out on both of them. And I went, really? Well, she was using an outside source, but now you can do that through Facebook and your business page. You can schedule one out for both of those places. And I had no idea. But the Instagram one just has to have the right size picture. So I was like, okay. So she did that for me. She did 4 times a week. She would do twice for my podcast, Living Your Limitless Life. She'd do the coming tomorrow and then the it's available today on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then she did one or two other ones that took from my blogs that I had done for 3 or 4 years. So she took pieces from the blogs and did the pictures and sent them to me through Google Drive and said, here you go. And I looked at them and went ahead and changed the hashtags, did stuff that made it right for me. Maybe told her this picture doesn't quite work. It's too, I don't know, it doesn't fit my brand. It's not what I want. So you have to have discussions ahead of time, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But what do you have them do? You can do, like I said, not only have I had that, before that, I had somebody checking out all the yoga studios in the area, finding an email for them. And I had put together an email to send, and then they sent an email to each individual yoga studio, trying to get their attention and asking them about, at that point, I was doing energy space clearing. I'm still doing that, but I was doing specific emails targeted to yoga studios. So she went through and she found all the yoga studios in Northern California and started sending them one by one by one out the emails. And she kept an Excel spreadsheet and she said, this is the name of the contact. I found a contact with the person. I found the email. Here's the phone number. Here's the name of the yoga studio and the location. And I sent an email out now. And then I would do a follow-up email. So I gave them a follow-up email for, if they heard from the person, she forwarded it to me and I would take care of it. And if she didn't hear back, then she would get a follow-up email saying, sent an email last week about blah, blah, blah. Here. So it was like a drip campaign, which wasn't automated. You can always have them go into MailChimp or whatever you have and have them plug in the information and have them send those out and and maybe even do the drip campaign for you. Figure that out, have it set up, and you can read through it and write the words for it, and they can do that. So there is a lot of stuff they can do. You might just want them to handle your emails. Maybe they handle all the emails, they check it out. They might want to do some networking, finding good networking groups for you, even attending one once in a while to see what they're about and just listening and going, I'm just here to check it out. I have a couple of people I work for that might be interested, and I just wanted to see what this was about. So it could be anything. They can check through meetups for you to see possible meetups, and they can send you information on here's the meetups that might be interesting to you. And I mean, they can do so much. Depends on what you need and what you want for your business. Mostly it's what you don't want to do. The stuff that takes time that you don't have the expertise in, or you just don't want to do it because it takes too long. Those are what you would have them do. So how do you go about finding somebody? Especially with a heart-centered business owner, we take on way too much work. We take on everything. We want to do it all ourselves. And that may be true for a lot of other people as well. But we don't want to put money out unless money's coming in. So hiring somebody can be a little uncomfortable because it's money that makes you going, oh, but I haven't made that much yet. And that's how I was. But I found Free Up, which is, I think it's only 2 E's now. It used to be 3 E's, free and up, shoved together. And Free Up has people all across the world. Some speak English, some speak other languages, and you tell them, this is what I want. You fill out an application saying, this is what I'm looking for. This is who I am, the kind of business I have. This is the kind of work I want them to do. I only speak English, or I speak Spanish and English, or I speak whatever I speak. You put that in there. And then you say, and I'm willing to pay. And Free Up started at like $5 or $10 an hour. So up to $20 an hour, or between this and that. Because of course somebody is going to be charging more if they have more expertise. So if you want somebody just to do basic stuff, you can just say, I just need somebody with basic stuff. $10 an hour would be great. I don't need someone to think that much. I just need somebody to pull up the information and maybe be able to do an Excel spreadsheet. Like when I had somebody looking up all the yoga studios, I didn't pay very much. But they have to be on the same page as you, because what you interview, especially with Free Up, after you interview them, you target them and you say, what can you do? This is what I think I want you to do. What else can you do? Because maybe I will expand once I know what your expertise is in. And they'll say, oh, I can do that easily. I've worked here, here, and here. This is the kind of people I've worked with. I can help you. Or maybe you'll go, this person wasn't on time. They didn't show up for the meeting. I had some number of people in the Philippines that I interviewed, and Skype wasn't all that reliable. It was really hard to get it to work for some reason. But sometimes they just never show up. And I text them going, I'm not hearing from you. Or I'd email them, and they'd say, I can't get on. I don't know what's going on. The Philippines is a mess. And it would be, I didn't know whether to believe them or not until it happened 2 or 3 times. And I went, well, either the Philippines is having a hard time with Skype, or else these people are all flakes. So I would contact Free Up and say, hey, everybody's having an issue. How is a better way to get through to them? And so we would figure something out and it would work. So once you interview them, make sure you know what you want and you have all your questions lined up in a row. Because a lot of times when you're going through the main business, like Free Up, or like there's a number of other ones that I know offhand. If you're interested, I can I can send out the message if you comment below the video. Sometimes you talk to them and you go, so you talk them all the way through and you go, so how much are your people? And they go, oh, mine are 35 or 40 an hour. And you go, I can't really do that. And you'll find that the United States people are more expensive because they expect it to be more expensive. Maybe the dollar doesn't go as far in the United States as it does in some other countries, or they don't have as high of an expectation of money because it doesn't cost as much for cost of living there. You might end up with college students, and I mean, at least when you're, I won't say my age, but when you're not a total spring chicken, as my mom used to say, you end up not knowing some of the basics that they know from the time they were born almost. So those people who are younger may be able to do things that you're going, I never learned that. And that might be exactly what you need. Plus, they're less expensive. So, especially in other countries. But you may want somebody who is, you give them the information and they go. They write the stuff for you. You just they give it to you, you check it out, they post it. And that's what's happened with my latest person. She's more expensive. She's still not that much compared to other people. And she's leaving the business, or at least stepping back some because she's pregnant. And she doesn't want to do as much. And I'm going, oh dear, I'm one of the ones she's letting go. So I'm not going to be at my day job soon. I'm going to letting that go, and I'm going to have some time, and I'm going to see how much I want to do for myself versus let me hire somebody else. Because I got through somebody, one of my contacts, and so she was less expensive because she wasn't through an agency. So ask around, find out who has somebody already, what kind of business they're in, and then find out if they would work for your kind of business. But definitely find out what you want to have done. And when you interview them, ask them what else they do, because you might just find, oh my God, I'd love it if you did that for me. Because you may not have even thought of that. I hadn't thought of doing social media posting because I thought it would be too expensive. But once I got the information from her, I went, oh, okay, I think this is what I need. I think I need a plan, and I think I need you to do it for me. And I told her, go into my website, here's the connection so you can get all of them. Go ahead and download everything you need and just go. And it's like, oh. So she was creating her own blogs. From my blog, she was creating the posts and everything. And she pretty much did it on her own. So it depends on how good of a match you find. And you may find the first few, as I did, I didn't quite explain things well enough. And they were from another country. And I wasn't sure if it was a language barrier where I wasn't explaining it, if it was a cultural barrier, it wasn't making sense. So I had to talk to Free Up and say, what am I doing wrong? Because this isn't working for me. And they were like, oh my God, okay, let's chat about what you actually need, and we'll communicate that better to the person that you're interviewing, because maybe I'm not being clear. We went ahead, and I have to say that I had some good, some bad experiences, and you may have the same. Realize that communication is key, them knowing what you want. So be as clear as you can before you talk to anybody. Also know that it is worth the money if you don't have the time. If you have the time and you're frustrated beyond belief because you don't have the expertise, it's worth the money. So just don't think about it as money going out, thinking of it as an extra help to your business, something that you need that is worth paying for. And virtual assistants can be gold if you find the right one, and they can also be a pain in the neck if they're the wrong person. So ask around, find out who has somebody, if anybody has one, how much they charge, if they can be of assistance to you, what they do for them. Ask around. I know that I asked on my Holistic Chamber of Commerce group, and that's how I found out. You might find out through Toastmasters. If you have Toastmasters, like, hey, does anybody have a virtual assistant? Who do you use? Do you have a group, a business that has them underneath, or do you have somebody you just use that you've hired separately? Ask them, because everybody has some connection that you may not. And perhaps you'll find the best person for you, which was the last 2 years have been really great using the person that I've been using. This is something that can shift your business, and it can definitely make your business more fun if you don't have to do the things you don't like to do. It's one way not to get burnt out. If you love what you're doing and you have that heart-centered connection to your business, but what you have to do for the business part versus maybe the service part makes you go, I'm going crazy. I hate doing this. That's the part you need to assign somebody else to do, because then you can stay in that center of loving your business when maybe you weren't there before. So just know, breathe through it and go, yeah, this part I need to have somebody else do for me to love my business, to stay in that space that I need. If you need help knowing where to go for virtual assistants, by all means, leave a comment below. I'll be happy to help you, give you some options. And in the meantime, please join me again. If you like what you hear, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Or if you want to hear more, you can go to my podcast, Living Your Limitless Life. Not only is it available on most podcast channels, but there'll be a direct link to all of them on my website, on the website that hosts the podcast. And you can also go to my website at connecttojoy.com to find out more about me, about Marconics multidimensional energy and ascension work, as well as more. You can also listen to the podcast there as well. Until next week, please know that you are already enough to have that joyful, limitless life that you desire.